Hi. Okay, I'm just looking for the video so I can make sure I can see all the comments. Welcome, welcome. Come on, where is it? There I am. Hi. I can see some people now. Awesome. I feel like I'm too close, like I'm cutting off the top of my head. Let's go back. Sorry for the bumping around. When I start, everything's in frame, and then when I press live, the camera like zooms in or something. So I'm just making sure you can all see me. Got my hair up today. So it feels a bit weird. It's, you know, when you haven't washed your hair properly. Been to the gym and yeah. so, you, so you just like do the hair tie up so it's not as obvious. But now I'm just confessing also. Awesome. Just checking on both pages. I've got hellos happening from Spirit Readings page and the Spiritual Events Directory. I'm live on both at the same time. That's so fun. So I have to have my phone out so I can make sure I get comments from both pages. Awesome. Yes, so have you guys noticed? I wonder if any of you saw my little ad saying we're talking about past lives today. I wasn't sure. So I wanted to make sure I did that so some people would know that's what we're doing. I don't even have my oracle cards here today because we're doing something different that I offer. This is probably my fave thing to help people with because I'm a little bit cheekier, I guess. I love to see the past lives of people. It's so interesting, and I'm not really great with history and geography, so it's kind of a learning experience for me as well, doing past lives. So I wanted to chat about it a little bit more and explain, you know, a bit more details about it because everyone's heard about past lives. I'd love to know what you know about past lives, and if you know of any of yours, if you do, if they've just been brought up. Just Jim and Heather, yeah. Just laughing at comments. If you've had any healed and cleared before, because there's all different types of ways you can get that done. So I'd love to know if anyone wants to share as well and while that's happening. So for those of you that don't know me and haven't seen me on here before, I'm also do lives on our wellness community once a fortnight on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, talking about all these kind of things as well. And so my name is OptiMystic Xavier. I'm a psychic medium, intuitive coach, spiritual mentor, lots of different tools in my kit. I balance chakras. I'm a twin flame as well. So many different things to talk about. And I've been really loving my journey over the years. My journey started after my kids were all born, just a bit different. Although when I was learning or remembering things that I could do, I realized I've been doing them all my life anyway. I just learned how to turn it into a business and do it way more often and better. So yeah, that's what I do. I mean, I'm based in Epping in Victoria, but obviously online I can do everything online except massage. I'm also a massage therapist, but everything else I can do online for you via video like I do with Skype. So you can book online for your own past life reading if you like. Although a few of you, it really depends on how long they go for. So we'll see what comes up this afternoon. It's this afternoon, isn't it? Yeah, just gone afternoon. I'll see what comes up this afternoon. So it's not like cards where I get through as many as I possibly can doing mini readings. I will be drawn to do a couple of you or a few of you depending on how much time we have, and depends on how long the past life sort of takes to go through whatever we need to know. So let's have a look at the comments just quickly to see if anyone is sharing stuff about past life. You know of a few, being a witch and a midwife. I remember helping babies being born actually. Wow, that's so cool. You remember that as well? From what I've heard, my most recent past life is in Japan. I died from radiation poisoning. Wow. So you've heard, so yeah, this is the thing. So you've heard about that, but then it might not have been cleared. So I'm a very big believer in if they come up, if someone brings it up, and it's nothing against psychics who do bring up past lives and let you know about it, but I feel it is really important to have them cleared as well, because the energy that's come up at that time for a reason. So clearing it and healing it is really important to do. So it's not that any issues that you will not even realize can be attached to that past life can be lingering around and hindering your movement forward in this life. That's why it's important. And some of the things are good knowledge, like Amy saying you're going to be a midwife in this life as well. So there you go. And that life has come up for you to find out about, to help you understand why you're drawn to that modality in this life too. Cool. Of course, people are interested in past lives. You've been a duckling? Awesome. I've seen a few where I've been animals as well. I just want to see where people are at. You got burnt in a past life. Yes. I think nearly everyone, anyone who's drawn to spirituality, you've often been a witch or a wizard or a healer or something like that before, because that's why you're drawn to it. That's why you're interested. It's in you. And then you're relearning, whether you've been doing this for years or just learning stuff now, you're remembering what you've done before. Oh, you do hypnosis. Beautiful. Yes, I love it. So yeah, there's a difference. I wanted to explain that too. So we have Ray Louise explaining. So there's also hypnotherapy and then past life regression therapy, unless that's what you're talking about, Ray, where the client or yourself will be taken under hypnosis, and then you get to see or experience or articulate the past lives. In past life regression therapy, so you're put under. And often they can't remember anything they say, so it's been recorded. So sometimes you do. I've had it done to me, and I remember saying everything, but I had no control over it. And you're communicating also with your higher self as well as speaking through you. So that's very cool, and I have not learnt that yet. But what I do when I do the past life for you is I connect and I see it all, just like I do when I'm channeling messages for you in a normal healing or reading. So it's a bit of fun for me getting to see, but it's different. You don't get to experience it. So it depends on what kind of, what you're after when you get a past life done. Oh, thank you for sharing my page. So you've asked me about past lives. I'm going to discuss them first. I'm just seeing where everybody's at, so I know exactly what to explain. Yeah, they are fascinating. A religious cult, very interesting. Might be why you might be drawn to more holistic therapies in this life. Wow, cool. I'm just loving all the comments. I love how you guys already, no wonder everyone's excited to learn a bit more about it. Yeah, you are talking about past, yes. Awesome. So, all right, so that explained a little bit of a difference between the past life healing that I do and then past life regression. So, yeah, so past lives. The reason we're here, Earth is a training ground for our soul. This is like a school. And Earth seems to be, from my experiences and from all the past lives I've done, many, many, many past lives I've done, and my own that I've experienced as well, Earth is like going to uni. Because Earth seems to be, I understand, my level of understanding right now, and there's probably way more that I need to learn, because if you're not learning, if you think you know everything, you're just being egotistical. Earth is the only planet that I know about so far that has free will completely, and where we forget everything when we come here. So annoying. That's why we keep choosing it, though, because it's the hardest place, right? So imagine other dimensions and planets and experiences are like prep and primary school, kinder. So because imagine you remember why you're there. You're born and you're there and you're like, oh, that's right, I want to learn this, this, and this. But if you already know your lessons and what you came there for, it's kind of like pretty easy. Whereas coming here, it's like, bam, you have no idea what's going on, and you have to figure it all out along the way. And then when you meet people and connect with soulmates and friends and things, and you've got to try to connect with them and then figure out what they're there to teach you. And so you just imagine how many people are living in this world now who are not spiritually aware at all. Think of all the people like that you know, and we know lots of them. If they're not anywhere near that spiritual awareness, they just have a few more lives to go, like quite a few more to go. It's what I've gathered from my experiences. You might have a different opinion on that. That's okay. So Yeah, sometimes we do. What happens is we do hear of a child or something. Have you ever heard of that, where a child or someone who's mentioned they've talked about a life, like they remember being a mother or something like that, and they talk about it, and then people are like, "Oh, wow, that's amazing. How do they remember that? That's so interesting." And we all go, "Yes, yes, we get it. We know. They know that they're knowing one of their past lives." But it's really so that like that hasn't been completely erased from their memory, but the reason is so it sort of gets everybody going, wow, that's interesting, and it makes people think. So every now and then you hear one of those stories just to get people curious and to be a little bit open-minded. Okay, that's why we do hear about some people knowing their past life. Just remembering that's remembering it without having a healer or somebody connect them to it. Actually remembering yourself rather than being told what it is. So sometimes that does sneak through to sort of wake up the collective. Yeah. So the reason we keep coming back here is because we need to learn as much as we can to be able to go back home again fully educated. And I don't know why we need to do that and become fully educated and learn all these lessons before we get to go back home again. That's just how it works. So I haven't quite got to that exact reasoning, but we all originate from God and from Source, or whatever you want to call the energy, the creator. We're all connected to each other. Then we all come off into our own souls. It's very complicated. And there's way more in it. I'm just trying to give the lighter version of explanation for you. We split off, and then we decide of all the lessons that we want to go through and experience, and all the lessons so we can become whole and complete and return back to Source again. So we're just playing, we're like in a play. And we have roles with our different soulmates and friends and family and everyone that comes into our life, the good, the bad, everything. And they're all here to teach us lessons. So if you think about that, it's like, oh my God, what am I learning in this life? Like, have I progressed? Have I learned? Am I repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again? It just really makes you think. It's like, okay, if you don't learn some of the big lessons, you'll have to come back and do it again in a different way, or maybe reverse roles, for example. You know, I mean, people have met that like their parent has been their child and things like that before, coming back with the same people, just switching things around. Sometimes you come back, it's not karma as such, but like to punish you or teach you a lesson in that kind of way. Sometimes you come back and things might happen to you and experience things in your life because it's teaching you from the different perspective, because you may have been involved in doing those things to somebody else in another life. So sometimes that happens as well. And there's a whole big area we can get into, although I want to keep it a little bit light-hearted today, since we're just sort of talking about an introduction of this. If you want to discuss all this more, you're definitely welcome to book in a past life session with me. I don't think I have past lives listed separately to book in with. You just book an intuitive healing, and then you just tell me you want to venture into past lives when you see me, and then we'll make sure we focus on that. So yeah. So the reason it's important to clear them, like the amount of clients I get that start, they might hear of a past life that they've had, and then a psychic or somebody might just bring it up, or they have feelings about one, and then it sort of swims around their head. And sometimes it is a negative thing. We haven't all been wonderful people in all of our lives. To be a really good person, you hate your role, you love your children. Yeah. There could be lessons in that. There's so many lessons. I've just lost my train of thought. Sorry, I got distracted by a comment. It'll come back to me unless someone reminds me. We just have all these different lessons and role reversals and different things, and we just need to keep learning and growing from those. The importance of why should be cleared. Thank you. It came back. If it festers around, and then we can get a bit obsessed and worried about it, and I don't need to be. I really want people to understand that you're not a product of your past lives in all ways. So some of them may shape you a little bit and have a bit of an effect on you now. But if there's things in your part, there's all these different levels of understanding, and it really doesn't matter what you did in past lives or the kind of person you were. Just sometimes when we pass away, when we go home and heal, we process what we did in this life and see if we figured out all the lessons, and we sort of go, oh, that's I was supposed to learn boundaries. Look at that. That was my biggest lesson. And look, I was just such a people pleaser. Oh my gosh, that did not get through my thick head. That's kind of how we look at it. Does that make sense? Like, it's like, oh no, all right. So I need to learn boundaries again. Let's try it a different way. And then one of your soulmates from that life or whatever, or another one will go, all right, because you can communicate. The higher self can communicate with you while you're assessing this. All right. So then they'll be telling you, even if they're still alive in their body down there, or all right, I'll help you with the boundaries this time. But maybe they promise, and they were your best friend in another life, and they'll promise to push your button so much that you're forced to create boundaries at your lowest point or something, because you just didn't get it when they were sort of like gently ushered to you in this life. So they'll do it in like more intense version next time, and it's a much bigger deal in your next life or something. Does that make sense? Like that, you're acing boundaries in this life. Awesome, learning some lessons. So that's how it works, all right? On the other hand, for example, and I wasn't going to mention this, but I've just got shown to, so with regards to suicides is the only thing that's not pre-planned as something you're supposed to do. Other ways of passing away and going home are, but not suicides. So I should have said trigger warning, sorry. So with much love, suicides is a little bit different in the aspect that if their lessons in this life were too hard for them and that's how they decided to go home, they don't get ridiculed for that. They get extra healing. They go to a resting place for a lot longer so they can figure out what happened there. And then they do their lessons again, but this time they'll be gentler when they do get to come back. So they just rest for a longer time so they can completely process and heal. And then the lessons are not as harsh and intense. And more soulmates will come back and jump in to help more obviously as well. So does that make sense? So yeah, they just won't be as hard. So they can process a bit better. So there's just different ways to help you out so you get to learn. So we might, for the same amount of training that we want when we come to Earth, we might have to do, I don't know, I know of 150 that I've had just with my twin flame. I'm sure there's more. So on Earth. So we might have, say, do 100 on Earth that are like heaps harder. But if you did the same lessons on all other dimensions and planets and never came to Earth, you'd have to times that by 10 to get the same amount of experience because it's not as hard as it is on Earth. Yes, I feel you, Renee. I feel you. I can't wait to go home. But yeah, I know I've got work to do, people to help, and we have important roles to play, so we can't go yet. Things to do. Yeah, so all the energy I got flushed from all the energy of explaining all that because I feel all the love and the energy from you guys watching and trying to understand what I'm coming from. It's a bit big what I'm saying, so yeah. So if you've been fascinated with a certain era or like timeline or country, like have a think about that. Often we can have a connection to a past life because of that. Like think, why am I obsessed? Or maybe you've been traveling, in the past, as in this life when we could actually travel overseas. Maybe you've been to a country or you've always wanted to go and you're like, why am I so drawn? And you get there and you're like, you feel this amazing connection, or you have like deja vu moments. You feel like you've been there before. Things like that. That can often be a really good sign that you've definitely had a life there before. Good. I love that you guys love what I'm saying. I'm feeling all the energy. It's really good. Smash the hearts, people. It's a love. It's gorgeous. Such a big conversation, and it's hard to just touch on it in a short amount of time. What else can connect to past lives? So yeah, you just may have signs and feelings about just certain things. So has anyone had that? Have you been drawn to a certain country or era? And certain times of your life, you may be drawn to those things, or even animals, because you could have been that animal before, or like your cuzzy bro, as I would call it. Say someone was a duckling, and so you could have a duck as a spirit guide because that's actually like your cuzzy bro from that life. So that can definitely happen. And sometimes it's even yourself, just to confuse you even more. Past lives, there is no time, and it's all really in the present and the future, and it's all happening like just hurt your brain even more. It depends on how much you want to learn about it. So yes, if you're fascinated with animals since you're a little girl, well, yeah, then, you know, I can guess what kind of things will come up in a past life. Like maybe you've helped animals before, you've been many animals. You could be one of your earliest lives as a person. You might have just been animals before. So many different things, I guess. And then when I tap into your past life, it's hardly ever what I actually expect. That's why I know that, you know, it's not my imagination. I am tuning into your actual past life, which is really cool. The 1860s. Wow, I love it. I love it. And often, so when I do tune into your past life, how I see it in my head, in my mind's eye, I close my eyes, and I seem to download blocks of information. And I don't even understand how I explain that, but I'll just see a snippet of the life, and then bang, it's like I have the whole story in my head, and then I can open my eyes and explain it. So yeah, that's the best way I can explain it. So I can sometimes I can zoom in, I can rewind, I can fast forward, I can ask to, and I learned this skill, and I know other people who do the same thing that learned the same way I did. So yeah, I can ask to move to an important day, or maybe we need to move to the day you passed away to see the relevance. And sometimes the lesson's quite obvious and you might recognize straight away what those lessons might be in this life. And sometimes you're not sure, but what I do is I then clear any negative thoughts, feelings, experiences from that life. We send them to the universe to transmute into love. And then anything great, any knowledge and skills and anything good from that life, then we integrate into you. I say we because it's a team effort. Integrate into you to help you with this life and future lives as well. So that's what I do to make sure it's actually gone. So then if some negative stuff happened to you, there could have been abuse, it could have been, you might not have been the most wonderful person, whatever it is, it's gone, it's done. You do not have to dwell on it and obsess about it and think of it and feel guilty about it. I clear it, it's done. So I want to make sure you understand that, because it's no longer relevant and be gone. So yeah, it's not something you need to obsess over. And sometimes people have been able to pick up, like, because of the era, I don't often get told dates. When I see the life, I'm often new, and I look down at my own feet and then figure out, which is really funny when they're like an animal, or I don't feel a body, like it can be anything. So it could be in water, all sorts of things. So yeah, it's great to be able to clear it, but then there's skills that you might need. So there's skills from that life. So say you have been a witch or something. Some people mentioning they've been burnt. We want to clear that, because imagine, so that's the most common thing that needs clearing, and that does happen a lot because you might be holding yourself back from becoming a fully fledged healer in this life. And so when we clear the past lives of when you've been persecuted for that, wow, then that subconscious judgment and fear of ridicule and death and whatever else comes up around that can get cleared, so you can move on and be your best self. Does that make sense? And sometimes we have no idea whether, I just clear it all anyway, and then onwards and upwards your life just begins to change. I love when I look at interactions. There's so many comments. I can't keep up with them all. Wow. You were obsessed with ancient Rome. And they come up at certain times in your life as well. So if a life comes up, if someone mentions one to you, or you start thinking about a certain era, that's because that life is relevant to you then. You might not discover one until you're 50, and you think, wow, I can't believe that never came up before, because I've had that happen over sort of 8 years. Different ones have come up for clearing at different times. I think, why didn't I just clear them all at the start when I was learning? No, it was because of issues in my life currently. All of a sudden I learned about a life I need to clear from however many lives ago. So I'll share with you my most current past life that I know about, and they do, just to confuse you even more, they can overlap. So if you ever find out conflicting information about a life when you already know you have one, you can have more than one life going at a time, because there's no time and your soul cannot fit in one body. So sometimes it's impatient and likes to learn things faster, and you can be born in China tomorrow while you're living life here. So if you didn't know that already, sorry, to hurt your brain even more. I've had to detach people from other current lives before too, just because they were affecting each other. So yeah, it's a whole nother can of worms. So my most recent past life for myself, I was a Buddhist monk in Japan. And in that one, I've believed to become fully evolved and spiritual, I had to abstain from everything. So that's relationships, meat, alcohol, everything. And that was fine for that life. And in this life, the difference is I'm learning I don't have to be a stereotype, and I can just be me and be shiny and show people that you can do this work and you can be spiritual without being a stereotype as well. But if that's what somebody feels like they need to do, then that's what they need to do. But that's just not my story this time. Yes. I get confused with what... Oh my goodness, yeah, that would be confusing. First time with New York and mostly Paris when you were younger. I never got to go. Yep. It can be so confusing. So we want to clear the lives, and it's great to have the fascination, and it's cool just knowing some of the stuff that you know. You think, oh yeah, I've been from this country and that country, and mate, I've done some stuff and I've had a lot of stuff happen to me that I don't think about it anymore. I just remember them as like facts, like they're not like, they don't trigger me or anything like that. But I've had tons of abuse. I've done not great things, and I've been a male and female multiple times. I've been different animals. I even danced for Moulin Rouge, which was really cool. You can be someone famous, and just to broaden it even more. Right, so really quick description what time we got. Cool, because I thought I'd like to talk for about half an hour, and then I'll try to leave some time for readings. On the news and things like, people have looked up, and multiple people might have said they've been, I don't know, say Elvis. And you're like, well, that's not right. You can't all be Elvis. You can't have 6 people that reckon they've been Elvis in a past life. Yes, you can. Because what happens? Imagine when our very first life on Earth as a human, or on Earth as as a human, yes, as a human on Earth. If you come here and you've got no past life energy in your subconscious to draw on for your experiences, it's going to make it a whole lot harder for you here. So what happens is you get imprinted with a past life. So if somebody did tune into your past lives, they're going to see those past lives that help shape you now. So I just confused you even more. I wasn't going to go this deep, but apparently you guys are ready for it because I'm getting told what to say. So then, right, so say you're supposed to be a child prodigy or a singer or a really good speaker or whatever it is. You're going to get imprinted with some past lives to do with those things. Maybe of a famous person like Elvis to help draw on that and inspire you, and you won't even know because it's a past life unless you are a psychic or you're spiritual and you get all this done. So me, I probably wouldn't even know unless, actually I've done it before once and I've come across it before and they did tell me these were imprints, but I'm just able to tune into some of that stuff. But other psychics might not know. I don't know, they might not know that. You can learn way more about this if you read Dolores Cannon books. She's my favourite. She's passed away now, but I'm sure she's sharing more of this information in spirit. She's amazing. I'm glad you like this information. So yeah, yes, I've done a few past lives, and one example I'm allowed to share, because I don't like sharing I won't share personal details, but I was doing a healing, just a normal chakra balance actually for a lady, and it was only like a half-hour one at a festival. And I got drawn all of a sudden. I needed to, overwhelming desire to clear a past life. And it was, really, really intense. I didn't know anything about her. It wasn't even chakra balance. It was intuitive body work, like a massage with psychic healing. And when she turned over and I was doing a solar plexus, I got shown that she was attached to a current life that she has as well. And this is kind of linked to someone famous. If you guys know Constance Hall, the mummy blogger, who's got her own clothing range and has a Rafiki, what do you call it? Not a fundraiser, like a campaign where she's funded building shelters and things that help support women in Africa who have been abused, I believe, like kidnapped, raped, abused, and all those kind of things. So they live there, and other people look after them to help them feel safe. It's beautiful, beautiful idea. Good, because I know what I'm talking about. Right, so I picked up that she was also, in another life, at the same time, a woman that worked at that place who was older, looking after the younger girls because all that had happened to her, and she'd healed and grown from it, and now she was Yeah, Constance Call is amazing. Yeah, and now she's looking after young women as well, helping them through their stuff. But and I saw flashes and images of things that had happened to her. And there's this lady, and this lady that I'm seeing was about 25, 26, and the woman on the table was about 50. So there's obviously an overlap, and I could see it was happening at the same time. But the stuff that she was dealing with, going through, helping her, the students and stuff, was also affecting this woman. And then when I told the woman about it, she just freaked out because she also works with women who have been abused. And it was just like, whoa, okay. So they're both doing the same kind of work, but one had experienced the trauma herself in another country 25 years later, than this woman. But I needed to disconnect the timelines between them and to make sure they could both move on and not feel each other's stuff so it didn't get confusing and overwhelming, so they could both follow their path. So obviously the higher self, the experiences from other lives, maybe these issues hadn't been dealt with in a productive way before, or a whole bunch of other reasons. So that soul wants to speed up the process of healing and learning by having two lives at once, just from different perspectives. Like, that's just so cool. I've got goosebumps everywhere. How cool is that? Like, amazing. So yeah, I helped disconnect that so they could both move on with their path. But then they're always you're energetically feeding information back to your higher self anyway. So they're still filling in the details, and when they both cross over, the two parts of the soul get back together and talk about the experiences they had and what they learned. It is so complicated. So it is so fascinating. Yep. I know, right? Goosebumps. I just keep getting them, so which is great. That's how I pick up stuff. Okay, so yeah, I think that's enough for talking about past lives, but I would love to tune in and just scan, and I'm going to go overseas. So if you're willing, I'm not going to go back through past stuff. Please say pick me or something like that. Don't ask me anything specific just yet. I will just get drawn to who I get drawn to. So if I don't pick you today, I apologize. We'll just see what comes up. And so as long as you're okay to share, for me to share whatever comes up, and I want you to just sit and chill, and I'll explain what I see, and then I'll do the clearing and healing and stuff. So it'll be interesting for anyone else anyway, just to listen to, because it's just an interesting experience. And of course, yeah, you can book in for your own if you'd like one more privately done or anything like that. I'm $120 for an hour, and I can just do past lives if you want in that hour, or I can do other stuff as well. Okay, I see lots of comments coming up on spiritual events. I'm just seeing if anyone's commenting on spirit readings. All right. Okay. G'day, Ben. Awesome. Because I'm not doing any favorites or anything. I'm just waiting to get told who I need to clear today, like what's most urgent for your growth. That's how it's working. So yeah, it's got nothing to do with anything else, how active you've been or anything like that. It's purely intuitive. And I'm jumping because I'm connecting with stuff. Amy Rose D. Laurent. That's what we're doing first. Okay. All right, so stop commenting for a bit, otherwise I'm going to lose everybody's comments. So we'll have time to do, yeah, it depends. Let's see how long this one goes for. All right, so I like to explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it, so it's not all quiet and weird. Even in person, I like to explain it. So I start off in a rainbow. And then, so Amy, I'm going to ask you, so I just want you to comment and nobody else, if that's all right, just so I don't lose it. Did you have anywhere in particular you want me to look into now that I've just got you? Because I can specifically ask for if there's an issue in your life that you want to see if it's connected to a past life, or if there's a country or an era or something like that that you want to explore. Otherwise, I would just say we need to go visit the past life that's most important to have you cleared for you right now. So, Amy, is there anywhere you want me to particularly check for you? Just give her a second to answer. Where'd you go? Unless she's madly typing, going, it's okay, I'm still here. Because I want to make sure you're here before I start too, so I need like a confirmation that you're here, Amy. Still? Cool. Won't be long, guys. Good, loving all the comments, guys. Good job. Here we are. There she is. All right. The witch lives would be good. All right, beautiful. Because yeah, okay, you want to help see if there's anything that needs clearing so you can move on with your healing and spiritual journey. That's what I'm assuming it's about. So, all right, Amy, we're going to have a look. So I'm going to ask, so I'm thinking about, is any lives to do with connected to you being a healer or witch or anything like that? Anything that would be delaying you from moving on in this life on your spiritual journey? Yep. That's what we're doing. All right, so that's my intention. So starting from a rainbow, I always think of a color, but then one chooses me. We've got two, green and yellow. Looks very Australian. Solar plexus, heart chakra. Okay, so that's the color that's around me. All right, so let's go. Slide down the rainbow. Okay. All right, so let's see if we can find a life that we need to clear that will help Amy move forward in this life. I'm in the snow, and I don't like snow, so thanks, Amy. I don't like being cold. Okay, I'm going to ask not to feel the cold because it's putting me off. So, okay, I'll just delete that. Okay, I'll just be aware that it's snowing, and I don't want to feel the actual cold. But they show me that so I get it and I understand. And it feel like the feeling was like really, really cold because, yeah, as I look down, it's like walking in snow, but like sinking into it. So somewhere it snows like a lot and it's soft enough that you sink down into it. But like, it's like I'm seeing like you're wearing a dress and like cold legs, like you're not dressed for snow, like it's freezing. Ugh. Okay. All right, so that's the first scene. So then I'm going to get my body. So I'm a female, wearing a skirt, and I'm not dressed for snow. Holy moly. Yeah, it's like, so it's the kind of timeline where I've got, when I lift a foot up to see, it's got material with rope as a shoe. So it's pretty old school, brown, raggedy kind of clothes, okay? All right, let's have a look. All right, I don't want to feel the cold. My toes I'm wearing slippers now and I'm just scrunching my toes to get the feeling back in them because it feels like they're numb anyway, I'm getting distracted by the scene. But I think they reiterate. So they show you what I need to know, what's relevant. So there's a reason why they're focusing on this. I think they're focusing on, you don't have material things, you're not comfortable, you're not doing well financially, obviously. Yeah, so they just want to reiterate that. Okay, so let's move to an important scene, please. It's something that we need to know. Okay. We're just going into like a house, a porch. I'm not even sure. It's not even showing me the country. The country's probably not relevant. If things are relevant, they tell me it is, and they show me dates and things like that if I need to know, if it helps you in any way. What I've just got a feeling, the block of information I just got is you're not actually the witch or the healer, you're visiting one. So it actually reminds me a little bit of Red Riding Hood. You're visiting someone, you're going through the snow to visit someone. So you've gone into a house, onto a porch. Oh, you hate the cold too. Onto a porch, and it's just all wood. And I'm opening the door, and there's a fireplace. It looks like a cauldron, but it's not like a full-on cauldron. It's like a normal old school pot hanging above a fireplace. But anyone else would now say now it's a cauldron. But yeah, we're visiting like a little old lady. Yeah, and you're like you're the niece. You call her auntie. You call her auntie, but you're not actually blood related. Oh, okay, so you're learning. Right, so you're learning she's like a mentor. Yeah, and okay, so you're going to visit. So I'm going to go back to the scene to see what happens, but I'm just seeing you go in there and she's like sitting in a chair asleep. But as soon as you walk in, she kind of like jumps up quicker than she really should for her age and starts pottering around doing stuff like, I wasn't asleep, I'm all good, we're here to do some work. Like she was expecting you but accidentally nodded off, like little old ladies do in their chairs when they finally sit down for a second. Okay. All right, so I'll go back into this and see what else we need to know so we can go get going. All right, it's just beautiful connection between the two of you. She's filling up little bottles for you, like you brought a bag, and that's now I just hear the clinking of the bottles when they were empty, to confirm that, like little vials, and she's putting things in there for you. And then you just sit down and talk because you don't want to leave. She invites you to stay, things like that. So it's a really great connection, but she invites you to stay because she's so lonely. And that's the overwhelming feeling I'm getting from this life that we need to clear, is the spirituality and healing connected with loneliness and being disconnected from society is what I'm just being shown. Not feeling part of a community, being ostracized. I can't even say ostracized. I can't speak. That makes sense to you? Like in part of your life? Like have you maybe felt like a little bit different from everybody else and not felt connected because she was sort of shunned, like she had to live out by herself because she was weird and different? That makes sense, doesn't it? Like that's quite a bit of a common theme, like being judged and living alone. And yeah, you were living, so your version of learning this stuff and visiting this lady who was very spiritually gifted and clever with herbs and remedies and things. She was just too different and quirky and didn't have enough love in her life, and so she'd cling on. When you came to visit her, she didn't want you to leave because she was so lonely, which is very sweet. It does fit in good. So yeah, then you've pulled into this life, somewhere in there in your subconscious, or unless you recognize it, you spend a lot of time isolated growing up. There you go. If you recognize that in your life, that's one of your biggest lessons to learn, is to not worry about that, and to get hold of communities and spiritual groups and be connected to pages like these and spiritual circles, and that you're not alone. It's very different these days compared to what it was as well. So being part of community, so learning not to just do things on your own and to grow, but then there's also a knowledge in that of being isolated and alone and how to grow, and just having one-on-one mentoring, because you learn a lot from this woman as well. So there's pros and cons. Okay. Oh my goodness, my battery is just saying it's going to run low. So while I'm talking to you, I'm going to quickly plug it in because I don't want this to die while I'm doing a live. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'll just unwind while I'm talking. All right, so next we're going to clear any negative aspects from that life for you, Amy. So you don't have anything, sorry about the cord. So professional. So we don't have any aspects of that life like affecting you anymore. And it's not just about spiritual work. It's going to be about any area of your life that's going to help clear as well. Okay, so I'm going to quickly plug this in. I'll be back. Sorry to disappear off the screen. I'm going to be right back. Oh, that's so loud. Just move the whole computer. Sorry. Oh, you can see the doll's house. There we go. Let's move that way. I'm back. Sorry. Okay. Right. So now I'm just going to do this. I can't leave this life up and explain it to you without healing and clearing it. It's very important. There's a reason why that came up. So the universe just wanted you to be able to move forward and not feel alone, and a whole bunch of other things, obviously. And there'll be things in there that you don't even realize. You got a power. Hilarious. There'll be things that this helps with that you won't even come to the forefront of your mind, and it's going to shift things for you, which is really cool. All right, so I'm asking now. I just want to say thank you to the essence of yourself and the other beautiful energy in that life. You know this woman too in this life. It's like a mothering energy. I'm not sure if it's your mother or your grandmother, but you've been with this person again in this life. They're saying you'll know who it is. Okay. All right, so we're just going to clear any negative aspects from that life. Any negative feelings, anything you don't need that is stopping you from your spiritual growth or personal or physical growth in this life, we want to clear and transmute and send back to source. Yeah, it's going to turn into love. Fantastic. Beautiful. And any knowledge and amazing insights and lessons and great things from that life, we want to integrate into Amy's system now, into her subconscious mind, and bring what she needs to the forefront of her mind to help her in this life and in future lives. Thank you. Good. Beautiful. Done. Easy as that. Awesome. Awesome. Yay, you're all done, Amy. Past life healing and release. That's quick. So I might have played around with it a bit more if it's in a longer session, but it really didn't matter. As soon as they told me what the lesson is and what we need to clear, that's it. We're done. We don't have to delve into it more. But if you're curious and you wanted to, when I'm doing a full one, we could play around with it a bit more and stuff, but it wasn't necessary. I didn't need to see how you died or anything like that. It did not matter. So I didn't even know the year. Like, it's just irrelevant. Yeah. My fiance hates when I say it's irrelevant, because like he always wants to know like every detail of everything, and he always gets told by source it's irrelevant, and he's like, but I like to know stuff. Oh, my Facebook is turning it off. Does that mean someone doesn't want me to know? So, oh, honey. Someone's playing funny buggers with you, maybe to make you pay more attention to the message because it's turning off and on. And you wouldn't get shown not to do this. But just know that you have important reasons, Renee, to be here, and your children chose you as a parent. Yeah, you got some work to do. You just want to figure out what your reason is for being here. You love my laugh, thank you. So I don't listen to my videos back because I laugh at my own laugh. Don't we all sound different? It's like in person, like to ourselves. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's do somebody else's past life. Wherever I'm getting told just tune in to see who I'm supposed to read for. Sorry, I'm just listening to. When I see a name pop up, then I ask if that's who I'm supposed to read for. Yes. All right, Diane Morgan. Lucky you. Unless it's something big that you think, oh, I didn't feel so lucky. Sorry, Kate, I'm not doing mediumship today, honey. I'm doing past life healings and release. I do that another time. So I'd love to be able to help you connect with your husband at another time. All right. So I'll just go back up. So I see there we go, Diane Morgan. Are you still here, Di? Yes, beautiful. All right. Did you have a particular era or issue or something like that, or something you've been repeating that you'd like to see if anything's connected to that? Otherwise, I'll just go ahead and read whatever comes up that you need healing. Sometimes even if you request something specific, you'll get whatever you need the most anyway, because you might think you know what you need, but your higher self's like, that's not what we're doing today. So, yeah. Okay, I'll just see if Diane says anything specific. Awesome. Yes, I'm sorry not as many people get readings today, only a couple, because it takes a bit longer. But I really want to show you guys something different, and it's something different to learn about, which is really cool. There he is, nothing particular. Okay, done. All right, so let's just tune in. I'll get going. All right, so Diane, let's see. So I start off in the rainbow again, for those of you who didn't hear the last one. You got green as well, so much green. All the heart chakra stuff and healing energy. All right, so I slide down the rainbow. That's how I go into the life. Okay. Okay. We're actually, so usually I slide down the rainbow and I land on the ground. This time I slid down the rainbow and flew. Like, I haven't done that before. That's really cool. I'm just, wow. Awesome. All right. We're some kind of bird, I'm assuming. Because what else flies? Not really a kite because we're a soul. All right. I'm trying to figure out what the heck's going on here. So just, okay, going up really, 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 really high. Like, there's a cliff face and there's a nest. It's like, oh, we're a eagle, like a bald eagle, like a, I don't know if it's eagle or falcon, whatever would be way up on some cliff face on an edge, or up super, super high. And it's a huge nest. Okay. So you're a mummy. And there's eggs in there. Okay. Whoa, this is like trippy. I'm seeing things differently because I'm in an eagle's head. Like, this is weird. All right, so I can see things that I normally can't see, which is, I wish everyone could see this the way I was seeing this right now. Yeah, this is why I love what I do. I'm very lucky that I get to be able to see. It's like, wow, they have great vision. Yeah, I'm just hearing the saying eagle eye vision. So I'm seeing detail, like, it's hilarious because I wear glasses. Even with them on, I can't see shit. Like, I can't read stuff from a distance. My third eye sees better than my actual physical eyes. And I can see, I'm this, I keep looking down because this is what it's like. I'm in this nest on my eggs and I can see so far down and I can see details. It's ridiculous. Condor, yeah, maybe a condor. Like, I can see things that are like, this is like their perspective of when they see a target and they aim for it, like, well, they're not missing it because they can see so well. Fascinating. That is so weird. I wonder if this is how, you know, like scientists and stuff, and I'm just going off pretend because it's just so fascinating. Scientists and things, I wouldn't, you know, you study like the eyeballs and the brain, but then you wouldn't actually know what it's like to actually see as that animal or feel. So a psychic could help scientists. Maybe that's another avenue to go into, to learn more details. But then I have to imagine a scientist listening to a psychic to learn about science. Imagine it. That's just a whole nother thing. Like, yeah, that'd be just interesting. Is an eagle a spirit animal? Well, she was an eagle. So it would be also her spirit animal because you've had that experience. So you can call on the knowledge of the eagle to help you. So it's definitely an eagle. It's just a really big eagle, whatever type it is. So that's just an extra added thing. I would love you to go look up eagle. Now, the reason they're saying eagle eye vision is, and I don't even need to go, I will go back into the life to see if there's anything else you need to know, but I'm getting shown about, this is you learning in this life to look at things from that perspective. Like, rising above the bullshit. Getting, you know, when people are arguing and getting into nitty-gritties and gossiping and stuff, you can or should be learning to rise above it and look at things from a different perspective, give an outsider view. You'll notice things, you either do or you're working on it, notice things that other people do not notice. Yeah, so you're like, oh, that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to go back into here and see what happened in this life. So apart from all that eagle stuff that you can research and the obvious things we can draw on from there, let's have a look at what actually happened in that life. Your soul was way more aware of what you were doing there in that life than like a human does. And I have noticed that in other lives when there's been animals for my own and others, that you remember more. Like, you're not just purely animal, you understand the connection way more than like a human does, that we're connected to every living thing and that we feel everything. And, you know, that's why birds, you see them flying together because they're energetically all connected. The one soul could be, yeah, that's how it works. One soul in all of those birds that are flying together in unison. So if one dies, the soul fragment that is in that bird goes back home and the rest continue going and communicating with the original soul. They're just showing me how that's how it works. So as an eagle, you understood that, and that connection of how everything's connected and integrated, you understood that way more. So that's some knowledge it wants you, your higher self wants you to bring into this life and learn about more now as well. This life isn't about some traumatic events. It's not about anything happening to the babies. Actually, as soon as I said that, they just showed me about you keeping them safe and protected. So I don't know if you have children in this life, it's like keeping them away from the predators, like as high up as possible. Only you're accessing that, or other, similar eagles. But you were just defending, like you were very protective and kept them very safe, and you had amazing abilities. And yeah, so there's that energy in there too. See if she's just communicating. Oh, you do know this, no wonder. So you already understand this on these levels. Fantastic. Well, imagine when we integrate this knowledge from this life into you now, it's going to be so much stronger. So I guess that's what we're doing. I'll see if there's anything that they're bringing up that we need to clear as well. So I'll just see if there's anything negative. So it's not a fully detailed one. It's just showing you where you are. And I'm just getting this beautiful nurturing feeling and a sense of pride. Very, very proud energy being up there and protecting. Yeah. All right, is there anything else they want to show me? Anywhere else we're going? Do I need to know anymore? They're showing the only negative aspect that they're showing me, and it can get taken on all different levels, I guess, is with that keen eye, focusing on what you want and like swooping down and targeting it, like sees this mouse or something from so many kilometers high, whatever it is. That's what it feels like, and then it just goes for it. It's great. It is like having this focus and vision, but then when I asked any negative aspects, it's kind of like you may get very maybe too focused on what you want, and you don't see other options. Once you know what you want and do, you might get so focused into it that you don't listen to anybody else, or like you imagine the negative and positive drawbacks, like of that, having that, like it can be really great so you focus and get things done, then it can make you a little bit too closed-minded sometimes, or too focused, and you're just missing out on other things, advice, opinions, other experiences, if you're just focusing on that one thing too much. Does that make sense? So yeah, that's you. Of course it is. Yep. So we're going to clear that. All right, so let's just get on with it. So it's done for you, because then we've got to wrap everything up. So, okay. How interesting. I wasn't expecting, never know what to expect. It's so cool. All right. So any negative aspects from that life and things we want to clear and release to help her with this life and the near future lives, we're going to clear it out of her subconscious now. I was doing it before I said it. So I jumped, yep, and we're going to transmute that into love by sending it back to the universe. Thank you. Good. And any really like knowledge and understanding and insights and anything wonderful from that life, that we can bring into her life now to help her. And we bring it into the subconscious, so it's just embedded in there, and pull it to the forefront of her mind to help in this life and any future lives. We want to integrate that now. Thank you. Your soul's just like ready. Let's get this done. Yeah, and you can definitely work with the eagle as a spirit guide as well. So definitely, homework on that. Because what happens is you can call on, when you feel like you need that energy, if you find yourself in some situation, you're just like, oh my God, I'm just getting lost in the bullshit. You can, all right, and you remember that an eagle learns to rise above that stuff and see things from a different perspective. Ask for that energy to help you get out of that rut and help you learn. And so you can bring in that energy, and you have a picture on your phone, things like that around you to remind you as well. So you can do that with any animal guides. It doesn't even have to be a spirit guide. If you know a cat has certain skills and abilities and strengths, you can call on that energy of the cat as a spirit guide, like invite them into your life, so that's a whole nother thing to guides. And I was talking about guides last week, so if you want to learn about guides, go back and find my video from last week, the first 20 minutes I was talking about that. Wow, that's amazing. So when we process our lives, when we go back home and we're checking all our lessons and see what we sort of did really well and what we might have to do again, not everything gets healed and cleared sometimes. Like we heal and clear depending on what happened, but things do get missed. And if we don't want to repeat some of those lessons anymore, we can get them cleared. That's what getting a past life healing and release is for healing whatever's sort of still there. So if you have issues, like you keep falling for the same guy or girl and you're like, why do I keep this kind of crappy relationships keep happening? Why not learning my lesson? What is it? What is it? I've had enough. Like, or if you find it that your boundaries are never getting respect, whatever it is, it can be a past life connected to that needs clearing. So there's just an extra bit of help to help you move forward in your life. That's all it's about. Or you could just be curious, but at the same time, focusing just on who you are now and not a product of your past, whether it's past lives or things that have happened to you in the past. You choose how to react in every situation, and you choose what you want to do every single day. Despite what happens to you, are you going to choose to be happy, or are you going to choose to be stressed or sad or angry? Choose what you want. I choose joy and love. So thank you so much, beautiful people, for watching. I'm sorry I only got to do 2 people, but I better get off. Love you all, and I hope to see you again next week. Thank you. Bye.